Hello, Breakout Club. Hello, friends. Hello, colleagues and people I've met along the way, and everyone out there who's clicked on this video to hear me ramble a little bit about myself. Thank you. I'm Janelle Noelani, and for the past 14 weeks, I've been holed up in my apartment because I've been enrolled in a Software Engineering Bootcamp at Flatiron School. One more week until graduation. Wish me luck. And for everyone else out there who is also close to the finish line, best of luck as well. Let's do this. Part of the bootcamp curriculum is that we need to do 5 blogs, technical blogs, just about programming in general, so deep dives into topics covered in the course, just kind of exploring other ideas in programming. And one of those blogs can be a non-technical blog about why. Why did I choose to just change gears and jump into software engineering? Because it's been a difficult journey. There were times where I was sure that I wasn't gonna keep pace. Just times that I didn't feel that I would finish my projects in time and get them up and running, but I've been fortunate enough with persistence and with some help along the way. I've been fortunate enough to get it here to week 15. So graduation, final day, the final presentation should be on Friday, December 4th. Wish me luck. And now a little bit about me. I'm sure, like everyone graduating high school, they face the question, what am I going to do after I graduate? So I was kind of torn between engineering, probably like civil engineering, buildings and city planning and bridges and structures like that were of interest to me. But then I also was really interested in international studies. At the time, I was kind of feeling like math and science would be easier for me to pursue, and there were great scholarships out there and the promise of a wonderful, well-paying job after that. But I kind of thought that I would get bored. I don't know, I didn't want to get stuck doing the same thing over and over again. I didn't really have a way at that time to see the variety a civil engineer could have in their career. I was probably just going off of what I read in Britannica or those career books and manuals in high school. Do you know what I'm talking about? They make you take some sort of personality career test and see what you would fit into, and they give you a list of careers that you might be suited for and that you should go explore. So they send you to the library and you research about it and you write about it. And yeah, I was researching it with books in the library and whatnot, printed material, not the internet. Anyways, I choose not to go that path. I decided I wanted a challenge. I wanted to kind of get out of my comfort zone. So I majored in international studies with a minor in Spanish. I was kind of under the impression that I would have a glamorous life of traveling the world and maybe doing international business for important companies, solving worldly problems. Off to University of Idaho I went. It was a great experience. Some challenging times. Sometimes I missed the university setting, learning so many exciting things and introducing new ideas, absorbing as much as I could, but none of my initial ambitions came to fruition. I instead turned to the food and beverage industry, the restaurant industry, first kind of pursuing craft beers and a little bit of retail, And then I jumped into the world of wine. Well, it was kind of just introduced to me through dinner parties and friends in industry, honestly. Managed a restaurant for a little bit, doing bookkeeping, worked in the kitchen, made desserts, managed the drink list, did a little bit of everything, jack of all trades, but decided I needed my soul back. So I came to Seattle for a new beginning, where I then gave my soul to Vino Volo, a wine bar for the past 7 years. And I went with the intention that I was going to learn more about wine. And with the impressive rotating selection and glass pours that they had there, I was exposed to a lot. And with the Seattle location, it was kind of cool to meet people in the industry. So the wine community is just pretty amazing. Educators, other students in wine, people in the restaurant industry, winemakers. It was pretty cool. But I also decided to pursue other things on the side while working at Vino Volo, because always gotta be doing something. Alrighty. Just gonna go down memory lane. In 2015, I enrolled in the Northwest Wine Academy at South Seattle College. When I moved to Seattle, I saw a little ad in The Stranger, and I just held it in the back of my mind that if I wanted to learn more about wine, I was going to eventually pursue that. So it took a couple years, but in 2015, I finally enrolled part-time and then moved full-time. And so in 2017, graduated with my Associate of Applied Science in Wine Marketing and Sales. It was a fun program. Explored a lot about the wine industry in general and just wines around the world. Really good experience at the Northwest Wine Academy. So I'm here with a map of French wine regions and AOCs. And so with the Wine Scholar Guild, I took their French Wine Scholar course and exam, and I passed it with honors. In 2019, I took this exam 3 times. I just kept persisting, and this just kind of goes to show that if you keep persisting, you might just excel with honors. So that's pretty cool. Pretty proud of that. After a year or so of going to the Northwest Wine Academy, I finally felt ready to tackle the introductory Somm course. So in 2016, I passed the introductory Somm course. 2 days of full classes, just reviewing over everything. They kind of assume that you've been studying basic wine things, and I kind of was doing that at Vino Volo and at the Northwest Wine Academy, so glad I passed that. And here's my Italian wine map. And also in 2019, I passed the Wine Scholar Guild Italian Wine Scholar exam. This one was kind of fun. It was broken up into 2 units, so you would have the exam for Northern Italy and then a course and an exam for Southern Italy. So I passed Northern Italy on the first try, but I did have to retake Unit 2 for Southern Italy again because there's just a lot going on in Southern Italy and I'm not exposed to it on a daily. I just feel like Northern Italy kind of a little bit more familiar with. Love Italy. 2019 was a busy year for me. I went down to Portland and took my certified sommelier exam and passed that. Really big moment for me. just all of this was kind of working up to this point, and I'm really glad it happened. And another example of my trials and challenges. I had to take this exam twice. So I passed on the second time. It's really unfortunate with the first time around because it was here in Seattle, December 2018, and I just kind of had a cold, and so I passed the service portion and the multiple choice short answer exam with flying colors, but when it came to tasting, my nose was just really stuffy, and it was just really embarrassing because I didn't bring any tissues and my nose was starting to run. But like once you're in that exam room, you can't really leave. That was a really sad moment to not be able to pass in 2018 with everybody in Seattle who I've been studying with. But 2019, it all came together along with the French Wine Scholar and the Italian Wine Scholar exams. 2019, just taking a bunch of retakes and it all just finally happening. Awesome. And finally, we're in Spain, in España, one of my most loved countries. And I also took their debut of the Wine Scholar Guild's Spanish Wine Scholar exam. I was fortunate enough to be able to just focus on studying for this exam without being overloaded, and I passed with highest honors, so super proud of that. And it's just with these courses and with learning about wine, and after traveling to Spain for a couple times, like just these courses really kind of enrich the experience when you do travel to these countries and to just kind of understand everything. So it's just going to these different wine regions and seeing how history has shaped things and how, I don't know, wine has evolved, and just going to the different regions. Because these courses do also go over history and other cultural aspects of these countries. And so just really great programs I would highly recommend if you're looking to dive deep into wine. With these wine certifications, you also get some nice little lapel pins. That's my introductory Somm pin, as well as my certified sommelier pin, my green Italian wine scholar, my Spanish wine scholar pin, and French wine scholar. Here they all are. 4 years in the making. 2015 all the way to 2020. Nope. Yeah, and I have thought about taking some of the master classes from the Wine Scholar Guild to dive a little deeper into France. But, you know, I'm always doing something and pursuing this software engineering right now. So maybe at some point in the future, I will pursue some master French classes and hopefully go to France more. And along with studying wine, I also like to travel. They kind of do go hand in hand. And so after 7 years of hanging on to my passport and not using it, finally in 2016 went to Italy with Reggie, my main instructor at the Northwest Wine Academy at the time, and kind of a huge influence on my wine journey. She planned a trip to Italy in 2016, and that was just a great way to kind of jump into the world, and just really decided to make a goal to travel like once a year. So in 2017, also with Reggie, went to Spain. 2018 didn't travel abroad, but went to Vermont. So that was the big trip of that year. But in 2019, again, super busy year for me. Just doing so many things. Went to Japan, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Slovenia, Italy, France, Portugal, and then also went to Napa, Sonoma, and Mendocino with another one of my wine instructors who's helped me along with the Wine Scholar Guild courses and with a couple other courses at the Northwest Wine Academy, Tanya. So she's another good influence on me. 2020, I was supposed to go to Japan and New Zealand, but because of COVID, that has been canceled and hopefully rescheduled to 2021. I'm hoping for a lot of good things to happen in 2021 and really looking forward to it. But in 2019, not only was there all these exams and traveling, but the Seattle Vinavolo closed. And so that's why I took an epic 6-week trip through Europe. I did a little bit of El Camino in Spain and thought I'd spend that time reflecting on what my next career step would be. I definitely loved wine and I loved the industry, but I needed to figure out if there was a spot for me that I haven't explored or that I should pursue. I know that I definitely do not want to make wine, though I have been tempted to do at least one crush for the experience, but I know that I definitely am not a winemaker. It's just so much can go wrong, and I don't want to make mediocre wine, and yeah, it's just not for me. And I know that I definitely don't want to work in the vineyard. There's bugs, there's snakes, and the hot, hot sun. No, thank you. Plus, I've done some suckering in the vineyard, and it's not all that fun. It's just basically pulling off shoots off of the vine so that the vine could be more productive on the grapes that it has. But I appreciate all the grape growers out there who take care of their vineyards and do all of that work to make quality grapes. And wine retail. I've done it, and it's kind of like a good intro job, and if you wanted to run a wine shop, like, that's great. Be married to the wine shop, but it doesn't really provide the flexibility or growth that I want. Another position in the wine industry is working in restaurant and kind of being the wine steward or the sommelier. I've been working in restaurant, and there are long days, long nights, long weeks, sometimes inconsistent pay. It kind of fluctuates throughout the year, not that flexible. So say goodbye to weekends, holidays, or even having a life. I was fortunate at Vinavolo to where most of the customers, the guests, were pretty pleasant, happy to be there, but I feel like in other places it might not be that kind of environment. There might be a little bit more demanding clientele. I mean, restaurant gigs, they're just rough on the body, the social life, the mental well-being. I mean, it's not all bad. It can be fun, but right now, I need something more sustainable in the long run. Working in a tasting room. I do love visiting tasting rooms. I do need variety. I would get bored if I had to sell the same wines from the same winery every single day. Some people have suggested I do wine blogging or wine writing, and I just kind of feel like that would have to start out as a side hustle or a hobby on the side. It would also take like great writing and networking and engaging with readers and providing something unique that can really turn the wine blogging into a full-time gig. You would definitely have to pursue it and have it grow. Plus, I'd probably have to figure out social media. Don't do much of social media. I guess YouTube is is social media. Yeah, so I am breaking out into little social media, coming out of under my rock. Finally, wine marketing. Although I do have my Associate of Applied Science in Wine Marketing and Sales, it was more of a broad overview, and I would need more skills and experience to be able to apply to a lot of the wine marketing positions out there. I just took a look at wine marketing gigs out there and found this one on for a digital marketing and e-commerce gig. And I am not familiar with a lot of these requirements and qualifications, but working knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I know a little bit about that now, so that's a good lead. But again, I don't have these other requirements and qualifications. Another position I looked at was a marketing assistant for a big company that represents a lot of brands. And it requires, a bachelor's degree in marketing. I don't have that, and I don't really have all this experience. And then the Adobe, the Photoshop and everything. I do have Adobe Dreams. I did take some courses at the South Seattle College. So I'm just really at the beginner level, really want to pursue my Adobe Dreams and be able to understand that software and be able to create awesome things, just to get the ideas out of my head and into something that I can share with people and maybe have it benefit wineries or people in the wine industry, to just have it maybe used for something in that regard. So I lack a lot of the skills and experience for most of these wine marketing jobs, and my Adobe skills need work. And I was hoping for a quicker, cheaper way to get into the job market without going back to university for a full bachelor's degree. So I began exploring tech. Tech touches all industries, right? So I thought about UI, user interface, to pursue my Adobe Dreams and make all the visual elements of websites and mobile apps. Then I thought about UX, user experience, to kind of branch off of my years of customer service experience and from the moments that I've had with a poorly designed website or mobile app. I'm sure some of you have experienced that as well. And I wish I could just fix that and make it more usable. Just seems that UX designers kind of also do the wireframing for websites and mobile apps. And then finally, I considered software engineering, those that build these websites and these mobile apps. I dove a little deeper into the roles, discovered how they're kind of interconnected, and scenarios where UI and UX designers and software developers would kind of be working together for that end goal. Then I researched schools and programs and weighed that into my decision-making process. Oh boy. That Word document where I put all of my research, and it ended up being several pages long. Maybe I'll go into that process another time. But my top deciding factors: one, I lacked Adobe skills. I don't have a portfolio, and kind of short on time and money. So the UI program that I was considering required a prerequisite courses to get my Adobe skills up to snuff so I could have a portfolio to submit with my application into the program. I decided that my Adobe dreams would have to wait a little longer. In that program, it would take a year or more before I'd become job ready. It was kind of expensive. There wasn't really a loan program in place, so I'd have to pay up front or take out a personal loan or something. And 2, coding is useful. The UX program I was looking at would have also been a bit expensive and take a bit longer than a year to complete, but my research also showed that it's useful for UX designers to know how to code a little bit so that they can get a project started if they needed to. Also, when communicating with developers, they can better communicate how the website should function and can basically speak the same language as developers. So it's better in the long run to get things done right the first time instead of having misunderstandings, and it would just make for a more fluid process. But, after going through Flatiron and having a good experience with their software engineering program, if for some reason I wanted to jump into UX, maybe I'll explore their UX program. Time. I can become a software developer in 15 weeks. Flatiron does that, and it has cohorts beginning like every 8 weeks or so, so I could take the extra time that I needed to make this important decision in my life without missing any important deadlines. That was good. Cost. I got a scholarship with Flatiron School, and I also didn't have to pay anything up front because I signed an ISA, a income share agreement. So I'll begin paying for this education once I find a job. That is just really great. It makes jumping into software engineering a little bit more accessible for people like me, and probably people like you watching this video right now. Organization, community, and teaching style. The final toughest decision to make was which school to attend. Full disclosure, I applied to Flatiron School plus another school because I wasn't sure how competitive these programs would be. Then I was accepted to both. I even attended the first 2 days of the program of the other school before I withdrew because I just realized it wasn't the program for me. Now, I'm not saying that this other school was bad. I love many things about them. I like their values and how they operate, their code of conduct, their sense of inclusion and community and whatnot. But it definitely had some challenges that other students seemed able to manage, but I could not. I was struggling. It was just extra challenging for me. So I returned to the Flatiron path because the prep work, the pre-work, and interactions with staff seemed a little bit more conducive to me succeeding. I'm glad all those months of pondering, researching, and going back and forth led me here. Thank you to Bridget and Flatiron Admissions for making it an easy process and making sure I stayed on track to get into this cohort. Thank you, Ix, Adam, Rupa, and Emily for being amazing instructors and coaches, even when the lectures kind of made my brain want to explode a little bit. And thank you for helping me chase bugs and ever so minor syntax errors, because that was another big challenge that I had. And thank you, cohort mates, Go Breakout Club, for making it fun and supportive, for asking the questions that I couldn't formulate to ask on the spot, and for piping in when I was being quiet and introverted. Thank you for helping me get through those darn algos, and when I couldn't focus enough to figure it out in 30 minutes, you guys are the best. So hopefully all of that kind of explains my journey to this point and why I chose software engineering at Flatiron School. But I also want to talk a little bit on some of the reactions and conversations that I had when I told people I was going into software engineering and coding. Now, to my friends out there who are watching this, I may have not fully kept you in the loop or like fully explained everything. Hopefully this video will help clear some of that up for you. If not, then let's chat sometime, okay? December 4th, I should be graduating and I should have a little bit more time after that until I get a job. But after having some intermittent conversations and texts with a bunch of y'all, I can't keep straight how thorough of a conversation it was, and I kind of felt like I was repeating myself. So a couple of questions and reactions that I got from some of you. Oh wow, I didn't know you wanted to code. I know, it's kind of shocking to a lot of you that I decided to just switch gears and jump into coding, but in actuality, I want to do many things in my life. So many things. So it really kind of was just a matter of time before I jumped into coding. Why did you do all the things that you've done if you're just going to code? Well, it's not for nothing. Always be learning. Wine and traveling are still very important to me. Food, beverage, travel, all of that. I can still be involved in other ways, maybe through websites and mobile apps. Maybe coding will allow me to afford these hobbies, or maybe it'll morph into some passion project or some new opportunity, maybe be a part of the next Vivino or something. Who knows? You seem to have it all figured out. Kind of. I just get an idea and do some research and plan it out a little bit and then just head in that general direction. That's just how I operate. How's the coding going? Kind of struggling. At the time I was struggling with JavaScript. It was a little difficult for me to wrap my brain around. Also in response to me and my JavaScript struggles, don't worry, nobody uses JavaScript anymore. Everything is built on JavaScript, so you gotta learn it at some point. Why do you want to code? You're so good at what you do. Aw, thanks. I need a break from being on the floor and working crazy hours and always being on, so I'm switching gears. And my favorite response, you'll be perfect at coding. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. You know who you are. I hope that answered a bit on why I'm doing this and why I'm about to enter week 15 of this coding bootcamp roller coaster. What am I going to do when it's all over? Sleep. I'm going to binge on some shows and movies that I've been putting on hold, do some reorganizing around this apartment, catching up with friends. I miss you guys. But really, I need to, revisit some of these old labs, reinforce what I've learned, work on stretch goals for final projects and whatnot, and begin that quest for the JOB, get a job. Thankfully, Flatiron has a great career coaching program, so I gotta draft resume and do mock interviews and do one-on-ones with my career coach who I've already met, and gotta do more of those darn algorithms and more technical blogs like these. Hopefully with the jobs, There will be some good things out there when I start searching, but I might just have to take whatever I can get to build up my full stack skills, and beyond that, I don't know what kind of opportunities lie ahead. I just gotta head in that general direction and see what happens. So thanks again for watching Breakout Club. It's been a wonderful journey. Let's keep in touch. Maybe do an in-person reunion someday with drinks and snacks. And friends, thank you for being there, even though we don't talk and see each other as often. Maybe we can figure something out despite the pandemic that's happening right now. And I'll put links to my blogs in the description if you're curious. Unless you found yourself here via blog, then you're good. Finally, I want to give a huge thanks to my brother who is working on his Adobe dreams and edited this video for me, because I don't have time to do that right now to figure it all out. So he does gaming and streaming, and if he decides to share his link to see what he's doing, because some of you out there probably like to do gaming and whatnot, so that'll be in the description as well. Goodbye, until next time.